all to a return to the black and white reviews of yesteryear, starring a MCU thing that actually turned out to be a Universal monster thing, with chills, spills, thrills, and everything you can think of, as we return back to the golden age of the 40s and the 50s, yet still taking place in 2022 because screw it. This is unlike anything that you have ever seen before, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is not just any ordinary werewolf movie. This is Werewolf by Night. I'm sorry, that was super cheesy. But hey, I have an old Has-Been Hotel microphone stand thing, might as well use it, right? Anyway, yes, as you can see, we are back in black and white. For the first time, I believe, since I reviewed the first Wolfman back in January. So, yeah, I know it may feel a little weird to have a black and white review in the middle of an all-color Marvel marathon, but trust me, it is all for aesthetic, because this is pretty much the MCU version of a Universal monster film. That's exactly what it is. It's as long as one. Okay, maybe not as long as one, but it's pretty close. It's as long as one, it's stylized like one, it's told like one. It's an MCU Universal monster movie that just so happens to take place in the MCU. Yes, that sounds a little cheesy, I get it, but trust me when I say it is amazing. And if you're someone that loves old school monster movies like me, and you're going to hear all about my love for it come October, I got something super special and exciting planned for that, then you are going to have a ball with this one. So, even though I technically already talked about this movie at great length in my Best of 2022 video, I still want to give it the respect it deserves, and because we've gone through so many pieces of garbage in Phase 4 of the MCU, that we needed to throw in some good stuff, so this is an extra special little bonus, a special presentation, if you will. Please excuse my Alistair impression, it's been a while. But what's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, there's just for anything and everything animation. Welcome back to our little black and white horror version of Animation Station, because we are talking about Werewolf by Night, which is actually based off of a Marvel comic, believe it or not. One that probably no one even knows about outside of super diehard comic book geeks, but trust me, it existed. And it's actually a pretty interesting comic book. I can't really divulge much detail to you because it's kind of hard to recollect it in my head, but from what I remember, it's actually pretty interesting. So if you can hunt down some of those old comics, check them out. As for this special, it's pretty damn good. There's a reason why it made my best list in 2022, while Love and Blunder bottomed out in the worst of 2022, because this is awesome. And I know that this is another one of those things that most people are going to be like, oh no, it's not that good, it's not worth your time, it's not that amazing, it's just more Marvel horror stuff. Bleh. Well, as a residential horror fan myself, this and Multiverse of Madness spoke to me on a level that it doesn't really speak to for most people. So, yeah, these reviews are biased, and I entirely understand that. Heck, my Spider-Man reviews are biased, because that's literally my favorite superhero. But, here, right now, this is still really damn good. Not only as a ode to the monster movies of the 40s and 50s, but also as just a really cool little Halloween special presentation from Marvel. So, without further ado or delay, let's dive into the written review, shall we? Let's sink our claws deep into Werewolf by Night. Here we go. This is another one speaking to my horror side, but the general reception seems to be a lot more favorable from what I've seen during my research through IMDb and YouTube compared to Multiverse of Madness. Werewolf by Night is another very strong horror entry into the MCU. And as one of my friends put it on Facebook, if this was in color, it would have certainly been rated R. Or TVMA, whatever. This thing is violent. This time, it's pretty much Marvel making a Universal Monsters short film, but with different characters that are actually based off their own property. I loved it so much that it made my 2022 best list, and on rewatch over the past 2 Halloweens, it's only gotten better. Yep, just like those classic Universal Monster movies, this has become a tradition to watch every single Halloween. And trust me, it makes the experience even better watching it on such a spooky, scary holiday. Excellent effects. They actually use some practicals in here too, especially for the werewolf design, where you can see a lot of old school practical stuff. That's the good shit. Superb tone and atmosphere. This thing, it not only looks and feels like a Universal Monster movie, but it has the atmosphere and tone of one too. A tone of not taking itself too seriously, but having that eerie, unnerving atmosphere. Like, you know how in the old Universal Monster movies you had all these different elaborate sets with, like, fog and smoke and stuff like that? Like, especially in the Wolfman 1941, for example, which, really good thing to pull from since we're talking about Werewolf by Night. The foggy forest, it really sets a tone right off the bat. Sure, nowadays, by those standards, it's low budget and very simple. But you'd be surprised how much you can achieve through just simple effects like fog. If you use it correctly, it is a great way to set atmosphere. And this is no exception, even though it's not as prominent on fog as those Universal Monster movies were, which again, I'll talk about them at length in another video series thing. When they do use fog, it's pretty freaking cool. Especially the finale, when you see that werewolf finally come out, and you see, like, the smoke of all these lights and everything mixed in with the black and white blood and gore of this werewolf ripping everyone to shreds. It's like, imagine a Hammer horror remake of the Universal Monsters, but in black and white. That's pretty much what you get here, because if this was in color and not in black and white, it would have been rated R. It is that damn violent. Very bloody aftermath. Seriously, this movie, it does not hold back. This special does not hold back. It is extremely gruesome, very, very bloody, especially towards the end, and you get to see some of the most intense black and white gore that you will ever see in the MCU. Now, it's not as, like, twistedly gory as Multiverse of Madness, and it's not over-the-top gory like in Deadpool and Wolverine. But what it is it's gory enough to come off as horrific. And that, again, is the good old school shit. Like, it literally took the playbooks of the old school Universal Monster movies of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, combined them with the 70s and 80s Hammer horror remakes, and put them together into one glorious bloodbath. And that's pretty much what you get here. Nostalgic cinematography with that classic black and white of the 40s and 50s. Even though I know it was for censorship reasons, I absolutely fucking love that they put this in black and white. Like, it just gives it such an ambiance and old school feel that is unlike anything in the MCU. Even their own horror entries did not go this far into paying homage to the genre. Really solid storytelling. The story in this movie is a bit simple, and you can kind of see what's going to happen every single step, which is a con. But it is still solid. It's by no means egregious, and even though you can't figure out every single beat, you're just having too much fun to care. Or at least that's how it is with me. Strong writing, one of the best written entries in Phase 4, and they fully lean into that cheesy 40s-50s monster movie aesthetic. A wild as hell finale when the titular werewolf is finally unleashed. I already talked about that. Great gore. Again, if this wasn't black and white, it'd be rated R. It's that gory. And high rewatchability. Oh, not to mention it brought Swamp Thing into the MCU, which is pretty damn cool. I've been waiting to see him pop up in here somewhere. Yes, the dialogue is hit or miss. You do have some of that trademark goofy MCU humor in here, like that fortune-telling thing from the trailer, like, good luck, I will be rotting for you. Like, yeah, that is a cheesy line. And, again, it's beyond predictable. But then again, the Universal Monster movies are also kind of predictable, because, well, most of them are based off pre-existing literature. Just changed around a little bit for the sake of cinema. But this is an example of strength through simplicity. Again, it's pretty much just an old-school monster movie that just happens to take place in the MCU. And honestly, you can barely even tell it's in the MCU. That shows you that you're doing things right. Marvel made an old-school monster movie, and I love them for it. Speaking to one of my deepest film passions and creating something that was right up my alley. Sure, I'm once again more than likely going to be alone on this, because most people, their very general audiences are kind of hit or miss with horror films. Some are really receptive to it, and others are not a fan, or find it like cheap and exploitative. You know, stuff like that, whatever you want to think. Especially with the score I'm about to give it, but it deserves it. Again, this is one that just speaks to me. This is a movie that speaks to my old school horror-loving side. And because of that, I'm going to put it on a higher pedestal than most people. Because this is Marvel making an old school 40s, 50s monster movie in the 2020s. And it's awesome because of that. Not to mention, they even have some more balls than some of those other classic movies, because they went all in on the gore. Like, so much to the point that even Dead Meat did a kill count on it. What, you don't believe me? Check the bubble up here and you'll see for yourself. Anywho, let me get my staff and microphone back out, because it's time to give you, if I can stop hitting things, the final verdict for this beautiful, beautiful, horrific magnificence. My final verdict for Werewolf by Night is going to be a high and well-deserved 9 out of 10. It's full of thrills, chills, spills, and everything you love about a monster movie, mixed in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe humor, writing, and dialogue. If that sounds great to you, check it out. Otherwise, let it pass you by. Okay, I'm done being cheesy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you like my little Alistair microphone staff. It came with the cosplay. And, yeah, that's all I've got. So, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And we are almost done with Marvelous May, because now we just have 2 movies and 2 seasons, right? Let me think. We have the next one, which is Black Panther 2. Then we have my re-review of Quantumania, Loki Season 2, and Echo. Yeah, only 4 left, so I'll see you little meaties in the next Marvel review. But viewer beware, you may or may not be in for quite a scare. Okay, I'm done. See you in the next review.